Hello and welcome to episode 2 of What If Casca Kept Her Sanity. If you haven't seen episode 1, I suggest you check it out. Here's a playlist where you can see episode 1. So without further ado, let's get started. We open with Casca and Catalin sitting next to each other, Catalin's eyes caked with dried tears. Did you know that man? He was a noble that passed through my village. He bought me from my parents, said I'd make a fine maid. My parents were hesitant at first, but they couldn't afford to feed us all. It was the only way they could think to keep me safe. Tears fill her eyes. They just wanted what was best for me. But now, she starts to cry. Casca's eyes soften. Where does your family live? In a small village just south of Windham. Casca's eyes brighten and she thinks to herself, I may be a lost cause, but I can help this girl. I still have some usefulness in me yet. Casca stands up and grabs the noble's sword and knife sheaths, fitting them onto her waist. Well, it isn't exactly close, but it isn't too far either. We should get going so we don't waste any daylight. What? Casca smiles warmly. I'm gonna get you to your family, safe and sound. Catalin's eyes fill with tears. Really? Thank you, Miss Casca. I promise I'll make it up to you. Casca speaks matter-of-factly, trying to mask the regret in her words. There's no need. I'm beyond help. But maybe I can help you. Catalin furrows her brow. How could you say that about yourself? When you saved me so bravely, you're a hero. Casca smiles sadly. I'm nothing but a broken sword. I used to have a purpose, but now... Casca winces and falls to her knees. Catalin kneels beside her. Miss Casca, don't strain yourself. It's okay. You don't have to explain. Casca looks at her and offers a weak smile. Don't worry, I'm fine. She stands up. Come on, let's get going. Catalin follows closely behind, looking at her worriedly. She thinks to herself, she's so strong, but so fragile at the same time. Miss Casca, you can drop the miss. Casca then, could you teach me how to fight? I'm not much of a teacher. Please, I want to be strong like you. I can spar with you, but beyond that, I can't offer much. Catalin's face lights up. Oh, thank you so much, miss. I mean Casca. Casca offers a small smile. Catalin thinks to herself, if you're a broken sword, then I want to be your shield. You're my savior, after all. They spend the day walking through forests and clearings, occasionally stopping to drink from streams, pick berries, and catch game to eat. The sun's gonna set soon. We should think about setting up camp. Would you like to practice some knife play? Catalin smiles excitedly. Yes, please. Casca removes the sheathed knife from her waist and hands it to Catalin. This is yours now. Keep it with you at all times. Catalin nods fervently. Casca pulls her sword out of its sheath and smiles. Come at me whenever you're ready. Catalin hesitates, but then steels herself and charges forward, yelling. She closes her eyes and swings her knife, completely missing Casca and tumbling forward, dropping her knife. She sits up, embarrassed. Sorry about that. I've never really used a weapon before. Casca chuckles. Well, here's my first piece of advice. Try not to close your eyes when you're in a fight. Catalin laughs nervously. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's try once more. Catalin gets up, grabbing her knife. This time, she charges without closing her eyes, and Casca easily parries all of her blows. After a few, Catalin steps back, breathing heavily. It's hard to swing this thing. It's not that heavy, but every time you block, it really hurts my wrist. Why don't you try loosening your grip a little bit? It'll hurt less that way. Huh. Anyway, the sun's setting. We should settle in for the night. Sounds good. Suddenly, Casca feels a pain in her chest, and Catalin starts trembling, pointing behind Casca. Casca, what is that? Casca turns and sees a bear with a vaguely human face twisted into an evil grin. The forest echoes with Casca's scream, and she collapses to the ground, overwhelmed with flashes of the eclipse. Catalin faces the disfigured bear as Casca convulses on the ground. Catalin instinctively takes a step back, but steels herself. No, I can't leave Casca to die. I won't. I'll protect you like you protected me. Catalin leaps forward, fearful tears leaking from her eyes, and screams, swinging her knife wildly at the monster. It smiles and knocks her aside easily with its paw. She bounces off the ground twice and lands, wincing with pain as her knife tumbles several feet away. She tries to reach for her knife, but the bear monster strikes her with its paw again, and she flies across the grass, barely holding on to consciousness as blood drips down her face. The monster looks at Casca, and Catalin thinks to herself, Is that the way this ends? I have to watch that thing kill my savior? I'm so damn useless! Tears fill her eyes. Suddenly, the demon child appears between Casca and the bear monster and circles her protectively. The bear looks confused and lumbers away. I don't know who you are, but thank you for protecting her. Catalin feels a shiver up her spine and hears a voice behind her. You're afraid, aren't you, little girl? Catalin looks behind her. Who's there? Don't worry, I wouldn't hurt you. I'm only here to help. I can free you from your fear, give you a life of sublime comfort. You'll never have to be afraid again. Catalin feels a warmth embracing her, and her eyes begin to close. Just let yourself fall asleep. She lays on her back as her eyes get heavier and heavier. She smiles. That's right. I don't have anything to fear. It's easier this way. She yawns and shifts into the fetal position, but right as her eyes are about to close, she sees Casca writhing on the ground. Her eyes burst open. No, this isn't the time to be sleeping. I have to make sure Casca's okay. She tries to get up, but finds she can't move. It's too late. You can't move anymore. Just fall asleep. There's nothing to fear. I am afraid, but more than that, I want to help the one who saved me. I'm going to become Casca's shield. She yells, forcing herself to stand up, and the spirit possessing her is forced out, fading away. Catalin runs towards Casca, putting her hands on the woman's shoulder and side. The demon child circles the two of them, keeping anything from approaching. What's wrong? You got like this as soon as you saw... Her eyes spark with an idea. Casca, it's going to be okay. She tries to cover Casca's eyes with her hands, but Casca's thrashing won't let her hold her hands in place. Then, Catalin's eyes spark with another idea. She looks to where her knife fell, an area surrounded by spirits, and grits her teeth. She runs to the infested area, screaming in terror. The spirits start to go after her, but she quickly grabs her knife and dives back towards Casca, the demon infant, stopping the spirits in their tracks. With terrified tears streaming down her face, Catalin uses the knife to tear off a section of her sleeve, then lays on the ground, facing Casca. Please, Casca, trust me. I'm trying to help you. Casca continues to convulse, and Catalin uses the strip of fabric to blindfold Casca, who goes to tear it off. Catalin grabs her hands and huddles close to her, tears continuing to stream down her face. Please, I want to help you. I want to protect you. Casca's convulsing subsides. Tears begin to leak through the blindfold, and Casca whispers, Thank you, Catalin. I'm so useless. Don't say that when you saved me so bravely. Just let me return the favor. The two of them stay huddled close as the monsters and spirits circle them, being held back by the demon infant. I really hope you enjoyed episode 2 of What If Casca Kept Her Sanity. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons and a special congratulations to Omar Tlatelpa for passing the Secret Hunter exam. If you'd like perks such as access to a private Discord server, or shoutouts in my videos, or access to all my analysis scripts, I'd be honored if you checked out my Patreon just to see what it's about. Even $1 goes a really long way. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!